Okay, let's talk special teams, though, because Debo did have a point. He shouldn't have said it. He should have kept it to himself, but, like, wow, man. 3 missed field goals. Sorry, Jake, to kick you when you're down. Great kick with the game on the line. But if the Niners hadn't drafted him in the 3rd round, he wouldn't be on this team. They would have waived him after he missed the extra point in the Super Bowl. And that extra point was huge in the Super Bowl because if he had made it, the Chiefs wouldn't have been able to tie the game with a field goal at the end of regulation. They would have been down 4. They would have had to score a touchdown. Maybe they would have, but they didn't. They didn't, and they didn't have to. And that's largely because of Moody. Then he comes back today, and it's like, yeah, he hasn't played in 3 weeks, and he may not be physically right, but I think with kicker, like they said, he didn't miss a kick all week in practice. One of his teammates said with kicking, it's all mental, 100% mental. So that's disconcerting with Moody. Last year, the Niners were in a lot of blowouts. They didn't have a lot of high-pressure kicks. When he was in those situations, he didn't do so well. Today, he melted down. And he was only part of the problem on special teams. They spent a 3rd-round pick on him. They spent a 4th-round pick on Mitch Wishnowsky. They spent a 4th-round pick on Jacob Cowing, the punt returner who muffed a punt, and Bucks recovered. Like, the Niners are actually pretty heavily invested in special teams. George Odom is a special teams ace. He's on the team just to play special teams. They're invested in that position. Tabor Pepper is one of the best long snappers in the league, and yet they have the worst special teams in football. The worst. Who's going to be held responsible for that? Obviously, after the season, they could fire their special teams coordinator, Brian Schneider. But who hired Brian Schneider? Oh, Kyle. To me, this is Kyle's mess. He wanted Brian Schneider. Brian Schneider wanted Jake Moody. He tested Jake Moody's mental toughness in a workout with no one watching. Now, I understand you can't hire 90,000 people to come to a workout and test a guy coming into the draft, but it's like, dude, you can't simulate stress and anxiety and pressure in a workout. He thought he could, and he brought in Moody, who has a strong leg. It's just that he's like Sebastian Janikowski. He's the right-footed Sebastian Janikowski. Kick is 60 yards, but if it's 34, there's a big chance he's missing wide left or wide right. He's like me golfing. Can I hit the golf ball far? Yes. Is it going to go straight? No, absolutely not. And do I have any confidence when I step over the golf ball? Absolutely not. And you can see it all over my face. You can feel my anxiety from across the golf course. Someone's like, I'm on the 17th hole and something doesn't feel right. Oh yeah, Grant's a half a mile away stressing because he knows he's going to slice it or hook it. He knows it. That's Jake. So if the special teams cost the 49ers more games or a playoff berth or loses them a playoff game, you gotta look at the general manager of this team. I mean, the team has a great scouting department. They find diamonds in the rough, but when it's time for Kyle Shanahan to really do his own scouting or let his position coaches make a big decision on a player in rounds 2, 3, 4, God, you got to hold Kyle Shanahan responsible for the special teams, and it doesn't look like there's any solutions. I mean, what they got to do, I'm sorry, Jake, but Jake's got to go. Jake's got to go. They had Anders Carlson, who's on the couch right now, hanging out, chilling on the couch. He was better. He was also taken in the same draft as Jake Moody. He's got pedigree. Tall, big leg, long leg. I think they got to get a different kicker. I'm sorry. And again, if Moody hadn't been 3rd round pick, I think he would have been. I don't think he would have been on the team to start the year. So they didn't address it. It's a little overdue. Probably need to get a new kicker just for the morale of the team, unless Debo and Jake Moody are going to sing Kumbaya on the plane ride back. Do you think they're sitting next to each other, Debo and Jake Moody? It's probably Jake Moody in the aisle seat, Debo in the middle, Tabor Pepper on the close to the wing, right in the window, and they're playing Uno. They're like, God, that really got out of hand, huh? You know what I'm saying? Drinking cocoa, watching reruns of South Park. South Park. I bet that's what they're doing.